10 ACCA myths that we are going to debunk in this video. Point number 1. ACCA has no signing authority. The myth is that ACCA has no signing authority, but people stop here. Whereas the right answer is it has no signing authority in India, but it has signing authority in various countries across the world, approximately 40 different countries, such as UK, UAE, a lot of European countries. Myth number 2, CA is much more difficult, or ACCA is much easier than CA. This is actually not true because of the academic aspect. Let's say, for example, you take the financial management paper at the skill level of ACCA and at the IPCC or inter-CA level, or you take the advanced financial management paper of the professional level and the final CA level of SFM. If you take these are equal comparisons, you will find that both the papers are almost on the same level of difficulty. However, because of ICAI's rule of the group system that you have to give 4 papers minimum at once, and unless you get an exemption, if you fail even one out of the 4, you have to give all 4 together. That's what makes the completion of these exams really difficult. So it's not that the papers are much easier in ACCA, it's that the structure or the system of giving the exams is much better for ACCA. Myth number 3, ACCA papers have to be given in a specific sequence because either they are grouped or they are linked. Now this is not true. If you look at any level, take the knowledge or the skill or the professional level, you can give any exam in ACCA first, second, but the papers are not supposed to be given in a particular sequence because they're not linked to each other. But there are recommendations. For example, it's better to give audit after you give financial reporting. However, that is not mandatory by the ACCA body. Myth number 4, ACCA has to be given with BCom or BBA or BAF or BMS. At Zell, we tell all our students that you must appear for your most basic graduation no matter what you're pursuing, whether it's ACCA, CFA or anything else. From the ACCA's perspective, there is no mandate of completing your or even having your bachelor's degree with you. So there are a lot of students in countries like UAE and I think other European countries where they just immediately, as soon as they're eligible post 12th, they directly start appearing for ACCA and they have no bachelor's degrees at all. You can just be an ACCA professional without any graduation under you. However, once again, I'm repeating, it is not recommended. Next, maths is really important to have before you take up ACCA. This is absolutely not true. Whether you look at the eligibility criteria on the official ACCA website or you look at the thousands of students who have cleared ACCA comfortably, maths or mathematics was never a requirement. If you're already good at maths, it's great. But for eligibility perspective, what you need is actually accounts and English rather than maths. Next, the articleship equivalent, which is what we call articleship in CA, the equivalent of it under ACCA is similar in all aspects. You have to work for 3 years in a CA firm under a CA all at once, somewhere in the middle of your studies. Now, this is what people think. The truth is, the system for articleship in ACCA is very flexible. You can actually start your articleship anytime, before, during, or even after you complete your ACCA. You do not have to work in a CA firm, although we recommend it for several reasons. You can work in any company. You can work in a restaurant, you can work in a traditional CA firm, and you can work in multinational companies as long as you work in the field of finance and accounting. You don't have to work under a CA. You need a senior who is going to basically just say that, okay, fine, this person has worked under me for so many months. That's it. They will submit that to the ACCA and ACCA will count it without any further questions. You just need to maintain like a sort of evidence, maybe your salary slips or maybe an experience letter, so that if ACCA ever does question you, you can show them proof. Lastly, ACCA does not have only articleship as its criteria. They also require you to finish something known as performance objectives and the ethics module to complete your entire work experience, which is not there in CA. Now, this performance objective, we have an entire detailed video on PER. Please watch it. But these performance objectives must be signed off by a member of the IFAC, which is the International Federation of Accountants, under which an Indian CA, an ACCA, even a CPA fall. So if you're an ACCA, you can first of all work under anybody, but it's highly recommended that if you're in India, work under a CA, work in a CA firm, you'll get exposure, you'll get the right person to sign it off. And that's why people consider it equivalent to an articleship. But you have all the options in the world to follow a different route. Next, they say that you need to have minimum cleared your 12th. ACCA can only be appeared for after you've given your 12th. This is once again not true. While the official ACCA website will tell us that the Indian eligibility criteria is post grade 12, ACCA has another route called Foundation in Accountancy, FIA, through which if you register, you can technically even register for ACCA post 10th. Now, there are a lot of details in this. Once again, we have an entire detailed video on FI, you can watch it. We have 15% of Zell students who are between grade 11 and 12 when they're appearing for ACCA. Next, ACCA is a UK based course. This is absolutely incorrect for many reasons. People feel that way because ACCA is headquartered in UK. That makes sense. And ACCA has the highest popularity in the world coming from UK and European countries. That being said, the true nature of the program, of the qualification, is global in nature. What they teach us is not at all country specific. What they teach us are international standards, whether it is accounting, auditing, and at least it was the option of studying international standards, and it's recognized or acceptable in many countries, as much as 180 countries. Students of ours as well as faculty members of ours have earned this qualification primarily because of its global nature from India, and now whether they are countries like Canada or UK or Dubai or Singapore, Australia, they've literally been able to go to these countries and are working there in their capacity of an ACCA. Being headquartered from UK and being a UK based qualification are two separate points. Myth number 9, ACCA is equivalent to a master's degree. When you think about a bachelor's or a master's, those are called degrees, because there are certain universities which give you. So Mumbai University or Delhi University will give you a bachelor's degree, a master's degree. But the CA body, the ACCA body, the CFA body and CPA body, these are what we call as professional qualifications. So ACCA is not a degree, which is a bachelor's or a master's, it's a professional qualification. Now a professional qualification has different equivalencies across different countries, which means in India, ACCA is not considered equal to any degree. But in certain countries like UK, ACCA is equivalent to a master's degree. But you have to understand that and not just presume rather, that ACCA is equal to a master's degree. Myth number 10. The scope of ACCA is not like CA. Let me first break it up. It's 100% correct that the scope of CA in India is way higher than that of ACCA. There's no two ways about it. That being said, all the kind of the candidates that we get, a lot of them are always of the impression that my father has a CA friend who has his own local firm or who works in a company like an MNC or a KPMG or a Deloitte. And I asked them about ACCA and they have no idea what it is about. A lot of people who are in the chartered accountancy world may not know what ACCA is. That does not mean that there is no scope, because right from our huge faculty member team to, like I keep saying, we have hundreds of students we've placed over the last 2 to 3 years, including in the pandemic, as well as the representatives from the ACCA body. We at Zell are 100% surrounded by these day-to-day facts, and because of that we understand the scope, the opportunities, not just in India but in other countries as well. If you are surrounded by ACCA the way we are, you would be as confident to understand that there is no lack of scope. It's just that, of course, CA is more popular. Of course, there are a lot of people who've not heard about ACCA, and specifically if they are partners of local CA firms, they would not know about it. That does not mean that there aren't enough places where you can get opportunities even without Zell. If you are an ACCA student, affiliate or member and you want a job, very few, maybe I can't even recall a real example of when somebody's been struggling for months and has been unable to find a job. The fact that there is not enough scope is an absolute wrong statement. It does not have as much scope as CA, but there is definitely, it's incorrect to say that ACCA does not have scope in India, because some CAs have said that they don't know about it. So with that said, guys, these are the 10 myths of ACCA that we feel a lot of people have misunderstood and carry with them. If you know people who don't believe you, please share them this video. And if there's anything you've missed, any other myths that you guys would like to debunk, please put them in the comments.